Happy VPR Thursday, everyone. It's your girl, Kiana the Goddess. I'm here with my incredible partner, DJ FMI, and we're ready to go. How are you feeling, my partner?
Man, I am hitting the ground running today. I'm basically up since yesterday. I'm so excited to be here. Our guests are something else, and I can't wait to introduce them to you guys. Before we bring them up on stage, Kiana, how are you feeling today?
A little sleepy, but definitely feeling great.
Okay,
You know how it
okay.
is for me on Thursdays, man. That's when I'm like, yay, yippee!
That is a similar feeling on this side. Also, I want to say shout out to everybody that tuned into the live yesterday. I was DJing to hit the beat, Hot 97, DJ Drewski,
Yep.
Rising Artist Concert. This we have five legs of the tour. We're gonna hit all five boroughs. So far we've done Staten Island, we've done Manhattan, we have Brooklyn, Queens lined up, and yeah, so guys, thank you for tapping in. Shout out to all the beautiful faces in the crowd yesterday, all the artists that was blessing the stage, and everyone hitting me up for these VPR interviews. I got you. I have to pencil you in. We definitely have a lot going on here at VPR, but I can't wait to bring all of you up to this platform and introduce you to our following and people that we love having here. So
Yes, and I
okay.
do just want to send another disclaimer. I've announced this on many, many occasions, but we do not book people through Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. It becomes too convoluted to keep up with DMs that are flooding in. So I always ask everyone to either contact us through our website, www.vprradio.org, or vpr.radio@gmail.com. And don't just forward what you sent to the last radio station.
Yeah,
You just send a song
have some
and
decorum.
there's no information about you, no nothing. Please don't, like, if it's not a professional email, if you don't treat it like a professional contact, then you're probably not going to hear back, because I could already tell you, Gmail just told me that the VPR inbox is at like 85%.
I need to start deleting. I am so irresponsible.
No,
Yeah, I have so many emails. So
I'm actively deleting, you understand, and like
okay.
unsubscribing from things. So
And,
it's just
and
it's a
and for us, it adds up quickly because we're getting so much music submissions. So it
right,
takes up more storage. If it was just like just text, we would be fine.
right.
But, it's
It's
all good.
big files. People are attaching EPKs and multiple links and et cetera,
Um,
et cetera.
uh, and also, guys, today VPR will be in the building DJing at Brooklyn College. It'll be 1,500 people.
Ooh,
I will be in the building handling it on the ones and twos. So I will be going live there and showcasing what we do, man. VPR to the world, DJ from my Canada, guys. You know what we're doing here Thursdays.
ooh. And now,
Same bitch, same
with
bitch
that
tonight.
being said, shall we bring up
Yes.
JD Mass and Kory May, the hosts of Same Difference,
Mhm.
presented by VPR Radio? These are our guys. These are my new husbands. Okay, let's bring them up.
My brothers, my brothers.
What's
How
up,
you guys?
Man,
How
I'm
you
feeling
guys
good.
doing today?
I'm feeling good. I'm glowing, my brother. I'm glowing. I was excited to
You
have you guys
looking
up
good
here.
with that piano in your background and
Yeah,
everything.
you know what I mean? I got to make sure it's a real one next time we have the interview.
He's about to go play something for us.
So, guys, I've been looking forward to having you guys on the platform. We've been lightly alluding to the things that we've been doing on VPR, and our subscriber count has been going up also. And I can only say that has to do with the videos, that has to do with including you guys. So, I just want to kick off this interview, this podcast jump off with you guys telling us, how do you feel about yourself today? And what should we be looking at when it comes to your podcast? What would we be expecting?
Kory, you want to go first?
Well,
So,
before we kick off, can I just ask one
I'm
quick
having some
question?
audio difficulty.
Are you? Okay, Kory is frozen.
they didn't get the Wi-Fi
Yeah, I'm
out
having
to the
audio.
rest yet.
I'm lagging.
All right, try going out and coming back in. But I know that when you guys make your announcement on your podcast, you say one is a 6'4" black man and one is a 5'4" white man. Which one is which?
Well, truthfully, I have to round up to even get to 5'4". So I claim my 3.5 inches because that half inch is very important when I want to feel taller, when I have to just give that whole number.
An extra half inch is always important.
After you get to like 5'9", you can stop.
Oh, Lord, have
5'7",
mercy.
maybe. But when you're down where I'm at, you need those.
Listen, we can dig it. I love your intro.
Being 6'4", the real being 6'4", well, being 6'4",
your audio is not,
like God.
All we heard is 6'4".
right, and Godzilla.
Yeah. Are you
I'll
saying
leave and
over
come
and
back.
out?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm glad you thought of it.
Be right back.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna have Kory May join us back on the live, but we have JD Mass here. So, how are you feeling today, JD?
I'm feeling great. Anytime I'm on VPR, I feel great. And the fact that we came together to launch Same Difference under the VPR brand makes it feel even better. So, we've been talking behind the scenes about doing different things from different angles for the community to, we're looking forward to the next step, getting up there with you at Brooklyn College and just whatever it is, we got to do. But this this is exciting for me specifically, just given the fact that I've been with you all for a little over a year and a half now.
And if I'm being honest, JD, I feel the same here. There's one thing that we both have in common, all of us here, even with Kory, we want to create a better environment for humans. Doesn't matter color, creed, or anything like that. And that's one thing that me and Kiana here on VPR from the beginning of our journey has always focused on. And our love for music as well. So combining those two and meeting you guys along the way and combining our mission statements, and if we can do this on a scale where we're reaching people from different communities, whether it be in the hip hop community, and they're understanding their place in this on this planet and understanding how they're being viewed, that's beautiful for me. Anybody clicking in and subscribing to us, if they're getting that from the channel of Race for What, Same Difference, that's successful to me. So I'm glad to have you on this journey.
Well, we definitely are glad to be here with you, and that's why I've been able to be blessed enough to come back over and over again, because the mission is united, right? You guys positive, you bring it positive. The types of guests that you have on your show are always informative to me, and sometimes surprising that something like that exists, like the hip hop label for people with disabilities. It goes on and on. Different artists.
Lachi. Oh my God. Have you guys been watching Lachi?
Yeah, she has been everywhere.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of that woman.
Shout out to 4 Wheel City as well. He has been everywhere.
Yeah.
He's always heading the charge for a movement, and I am here to champion that.
Killing it.
Yeah. So to be a part of that you guys have already put in the work for, and to be able to launch with you, it's an honor for us, for sure.
Likewise. Now, Kory, let's see what you have to say.
Yeah,
hello, is this 1985?
There we go.
They have cell phones now too, Kory. I know you're in the country there.
I think he's using dial-up.
Excuse me, my AOL is a little behind.
Precisely. So you guys are on to episode 2, right?
Yes.
Moving on to launch episode 3. How are you
Yes.
feeling? I know this is a very organic. Let's just go through the background again because it's like you guys aren't like long-term friends, right? You're becoming this and growing this relationship through the podcast. So tell us about the unexpected meet and then tell us how everything has been coming together organically for you and how you're truly feeling about the podcast, the topics, the content, input and feedback that you're getting.
I'll start. So I won a competition for a radio show called The Moth, and it was the Grand Slam. I'm pleased, and all of a sudden I get this message from a guy named JD Mass, and he says, "Hey, congratulations." And I have no idea who this cat is. And I look him up and I find out that he does anti-racism work and I want to be a part of it. So I respond back, "Hey, how's it going?" He says he's moved to Florida. And I'm thinking, wow, he knows me really well. I must have met him somewhere. Okay. So I play along. I write back. I'd like to learn more about what it is and what you're doing. And he responds back. This is where he takes over in the story.
Well, in the playing along, he was like, "Hey, what's up?" That's why I told him I went to Florida, because I know a Kory May who has the similar haircut, similar skin tone. And we actually were talking about doing a podcast together, and he's doing great work. And as he starts to ask me, I would like to get to know more about you. Huh?
Right. Like, how do
So now I got to look up from my little phone picture and hit the thing, and I see Iowa City.
Is that when you realize all Black people don't look alike?
Look alike. Yeah. It was hard for me to come to that realization at this age. And so I exchanged phone numbers with them. And the first night we talked, we kind of did a little bit of background, just information. And then we both said, hey, we were interested in starting a podcast. So we just kind of left it at that. Think about it. You want to do something, come back. And that night I couldn't sleep. A Black man, grew up in Iowa. I grew up around all Black folks in my community. Like, there's something there. So we hit each other. What if we got to know each other live on a podcast and talk about the difference in growing up as a minority in those areas? And my power dynamics is different as me as a minority than his power dynamics in this system as a minority. And so it's been interesting, even as much as I've experienced, still going, I would have never thought about that at that age.
Well, and I simultaneously was in thought of creating a podcast myself. So when this opportunity arose, it was just, why don't we do this? Literally speaking, we lived 4 hours apart. Now 10 years and 4 hours apart, but I could have had his life if my parents had made some different decisions, and likewise he could have had my life if his parents had made similar decisions. So all of a sudden we have this opportunity to talk about the world as we see it from these two very similar yet different. Same difference.
I see what you did there.
You know, he's got a unique perspective, and it often is the mirror image of mine, or the photographic negative of mine. That's empowering to have that conversation.
Right. From the city and country standpoint, from just the, like I said, the difference in being the minority in the group that you grew up with. It's an interesting journey. I hope everybody gets to learn from it and experience the joy that in us sharing and getting to know each other that we've experienced thus far.
And let's also get something straight. I'm not actually country. I'm more country adjacent, because I live in a town that has a Big Ten university in it, and I'm not country. I can go
Well,
20 minutes in one direction and I can find country, but I am not accepted as such.
You're speaking to New Yorkers who could go 20 minutes and still haven't seen a blade of grass.
Yeah, I
So
know.
we're
I
all
know.
country.
I feel attacked. We have grass outside.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. But if you can't go 5 minutes and find a deli or a bodega, then you might be a little bit country.
Hey guys, you haven't lived until you had a chopped cheese. I'm going to tell you that. It's a New York delicacy.
That's true.
You have to have. That chopped cheese is amazing. It's one of the New York founding fathers.
Well, if they have a vegan one, then I'm all in.
They probably do. Yeah, they probably do. It's New York.
They do.
Is that the same thing as a cheesesteak?
No.
It's
No.
weird. It's like a cut up. Even though we're on same different VPR right now.
Okay. Yeah,
like a cut up meat with like onions and basically
Well, whatever you want in it. It's basically like a chopped up hamburger, but
Gotcha.
it becomes tastier because you cook it with all the stuff. So
seasoning.
it's better than a sloppy Joe and not as messy. But I will stamp it because if you remember in the studio probably 4 or 5 years ago, y'all were talking about a chopped cheese. I'm like, still have it. And then I had one and I was like, what have I been doing with my life all these years? So, yeah.
And normally Janet doesn't go for the foods all the time, but I'm glad you actually went to try this one.
It's true. I had to go try that. I was like, all right, I'm a New Yorker. Like, I can't. So what I did want to say is the beauty behind your relationship too, and as you get to know each other, right? Like everyone can become friends. You don't see too often a good, enjoyable conversation about race, right? And about these same differences because it can become very heated and one party or the other can become defensive, right? And JD, the truth about the word that you're spreading is so different than what we see, the societal norms, right? And so instead of that's a trigger, or you know what I mean, you guys have a responsiveness and an open communication to delve into so many of these experiences that we've all had. And then Kory, with your superb art of storytelling, truly the way that you can pull people into the way that you've seen things, right? It's almost like you're there. It's like reading a book and you're like, oh, I'm all in here. So you really feel the emotion that comes with it and not just, like the black guy telling his story, yeah, got pulled over by the police, right? Like there's so much more that goes with that. So yeah, this is going to go global. I'm speaking it all into existence. It's going to continue to be beautiful. This week you guys were or last week I should say, you were talking about your upbringing, right? And how you were raised. What did you find were the biggest similarities and what did you find were the biggest differences between the two of you in that regard?
I think we both have parents who wanted better for their children. And as such, there was a common thread. So I can walk in his footsteps as he is getting that. And I think he gets it the same way. We have common values on a lot of the same things. So good parents are good parents no matter what the color. The nuances can sometimes be the things that we have deep conversations over. But if I'm telling you that my parents wanted us to be seen and not heard and not seen too much, you get it. If I say my parents were, don't you embarrass me in public, you get it, right? And if you're of a certain age,
and don't you ask me for nothing in this store. And don't touch
don't put anything in your mouth that I haven't paid for. And yes, we'll take the receipt. You get it. You get it on a level that some people may not get. But as we create those common ties, the stories end up tracking. JD?
Yeah, I think it's been great to see that, like he said, the both parents chose an environment that was different from which they have experienced growing up to give their children something different. And then at the same time, the difference in the power dynamics is something that I I'm seeing even more and more of an understanding. Yes, I got the conceptual understanding, but hearing when he goes through something, it's more to protect themselves. When I go through something, I'm trying to protect my friends because I'm on the other side of the power dynamic in this scenario. And it's just an interesting dynamic. I came from a privileged background. I got to experience my privilege as it was happening, where so many white folks are defensive over that term of privilege because they don't get to experience. They're the fish in water. They don't know they're in water. They don't pay attention to breathing air. You don't pay attention to your privilege. Mine was pointed out regularly in daily basis in high school. And it made me just be able to appreciate, but also just acknowledge it. And in doing so, it opened up for real, relationships across the board. And so it's been uncovering in that way to just even reflect back, but also with this mirror right there.
The other part of it is that this is all just happening in real time. Again, I'll say this again and again. We purposely did not get to know each other prior to the launch of the podcast so that all of this flows organically. He asks a question, I ask a question, we go back and forth sharing, and it's not scripted. Sometimes I wish it were, but plenty of other times it has not been scripted at all. It just flows.
Right. And then you guys are both silly, right? Like you've got great personalities and so much like diversity to your backgrounds and your personality and the things that you know. So it makes it more engaging and fun as well, in my experience.
Indeed.
So Kory and JD, I'm looking forward to, are you guys going to be having guests on your show? And if you are, what type of guests should we be looking forward to seeing?
Besides DJ FMI and Kiana the Goddess,
Good answer.
We do want to grow to that, and we've talked about that kind of almost being a spin-off other section. It's hard because the hour goes fast. Like even in some of us, we wanted to have a more of a conversation about what's going on in daily. And I think we're talking about things generically, how they operate and how we got the perspective from our past, but getting to know each other on a deep level in an hour, going through, okay,
high school. A lot of content.
So yeah, high school, one episode, shoot, I could do high school weeks at a time in one episode. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a lot. And so we're just kind of letting it flow. Like we did have 4 or 5 episodes kind of not scripted, but really bullet pointed. And then it really became, okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. And we kind of let loose and just be that. Now, my team at Race for What just gave me a lecture about you guys need to have more poignant schedule and produce so we can cut content and we can create the promos and all of these things. So we're gonna work on some of that, but it's also beautiful to just kind of let it go organically and see how it grows.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the beauty with content is you can repurpose it so much, and because the podcast gets published after you've already done it, you can still pick the points, right, and say this is the topic. I mean, we do it all the time, so. Yeah. It's really just about delving. I love the organic standpoint. It just really makes it stand out, and your reactions and everything, right? Like the jokes, it's kind of like those you have to be there moments, right? Like you either get it or you don't.
Right.
I think as it evolves, and I really, really like that verb, as it evolves, we're going to see more opportunities present themselves in terms of definitely wanting to talk to people. Definitely, because there's a ton of, again, musical acts that are out there that would benefit from, or we would benefit from vibing with them. Books. I mean, I hate to do the shameless promotion of my man's book, but this cat right here.
Seriously.
This cat right here, Race for What? A White Man's Journey and Guide to Healing Racism from Within. Got to pimp this because we're going to have a big conversation about this in an upcoming week.
Period.
Now, it means I've got homework to do because I've got to read the book and dissect it so then I can ask JD questions.
I love the VPR. I love that they see this synergy that they have going on. This will make me tune in, and I can't wait for you guys to also be watching it on the channel. Like, continue, Kory. Go ahead. This is amazing.
But there's so many elements, so much topicality, if you will, that eventually we've got to have outside voices come in and chat with us because, well, it's the right thing to do, and we need more brain power as well. We don't have all the answers. We don't have all the brains on the planet. We are going to be smarter because of the people in the room that lend their voices and their thoughts, their perspectives to the issues that we see in front of us.
And there's people that have grown up, whether it's been adopted, whether it's, been in a similar situation, or whether they came from a different country to here or spent a lot of time in another country. There's those stories out there that kind of fit in with what we're doing. And I think that is who we'll be attracting for a great conversation.
Agreed.
And guys, honestly, I can't wait for you just to make time and touch down in New York. There's so many panels and things that I can keep you guys busy. So many people that would want to meet you and just have this open conversation. So when you touch New York, I will keep you busy. You'd have no worries.
Yes, get ready to shake hands and kiss babies.
Seriously. The smile on that, yeah.
FMI, I got a question for you.
All right.
Did you do your homework about who Alexander O'Neal was or is?
I'm not going to lie to you, my brother. I've been sitting around, running around DJing. I ain't going to lie to you. So
okay. I
got Google right in front of me now.
On a fair note, he was up until 6 a.m.
I heard that.
Hit the Beat Entertainment showcase. So,
but for that, I'm going to give the butt here. It might add to some of your DJing, especially the slow stuff. If you get yourself a little nip of Alexander O'Neal, I'm telling you, because his farewell tour is starting, and his farewell tour is starting. And
so you know what? Today, after I finish DJing for Brooklyn College, I'm gonna unwind. I'm gonna light my candle. I always gotta light my candle to clear my mind. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get my little Pinot Grigio, and I'm gonna put on some Alexander. And I'm gonna enjoy it.
Please.
My word.
Next time we see you, you're gonna be in a smoking jacket and a fan.
I would love it. I need that. That's what I'm saying. You see, I'm trying to go to beard. I need it.
And a cool cigar over here, like my man Kory.
And it's the same difference. The same difference takes a break for like weeks, and we just don't know why. It's because Kory's out on the fan trail following the tour. He didn't tell us about that.
Where is Kory now? I'm going to be overseas in England with my Alexander O'Neal stand.
Right, waiting, doing his word of the day.
Yes, I will. Word of the day with Kory May.
Then you're gonna have to speak the English spelling as well, including the U's and such.
Exactly.
Kory,
excuse
JD.
me, my lady. I am of good humor. How about you?
With a cigar. So, can you tell some of the listeners about when is your podcast going to be dropping? Is it something like weekly, 2 times a week? What could they be expecting with the timing?
It's every Tuesday. It started the previous Tuesday. It happened. The second episode dropped this week. And so look out for episode 3, but catch up first. And episode 3 will be dropping next Tuesday, and every Tuesday, as far as we know, that we can keep going.
That's right. And you guys on Spotify. Have you been linked up yet to Apple Music and Google Podcasts?
Yes. Now that we've had the second episode, we are starting to expand, and it's allowing us to link up to all of the other platforms. So if we're not on the platform you listen to usually, we're coming soon, and it'll be able to catch up.
Yeah, them soon come, man.
Soon come, Shabba. But yo, honestly, I'm thinking of segments coming up because yesterday I DJ'd for all these artists, right? And they're all competing for money, radio play, and Drewski Hot 97. So they're all in their game mode. But what I'm thinking about in that moment, because everyone looks at me and the artists, they speak to me and they say, DJ FMI, you take the time out to actually like speak to me before my set to make me calm. No other person will do this at the showcase. So in that moment, I knew that we were going to have you guys on VPR, this morning. And I was thinking, I'm like, I deal with so many of these young acts and they are so angry. Guys, I'm at these showcases. They will fight because they don't have too much to live for, so they'll fight for anything, whether it be a cup of alcohol in this spot. And it never gets to that. Security is always taken care of. I take my security with me on tour, so they always handle all of the spots.
Period. But, don't ever try to come for my partner. He's got security.
Yeah, the security is great. We paid him great, honestly. But when in those moments when I'm seeing all the angry youth in New York, and then I know what we're about to do here with Rate for What, the same different podcast with you, Kory, JD. I would love to one day have one of these artists sit down and just have an open conversation, and maybe we can just give them a different way to look at it. And in that, it will give us a way to give back to the hip hop community. And we don't know, just teaching that young youth just to calm down, or just a different way to view it, and why the system is built the way it is, and why you are here, why you are funneled here. I think it would do so much for just our community overall. And I look forward to doing that with you guys.
I've got a little something for that. It's something that hit my life within the last couple weeks. And it was a phrase, and now I'm calling it my gold coin that I carry everywhere. Even if you have nothing, you have something, right? So that's the first idea. The second idea, and it stumbled across my consciousness within the last 2 weeks, and it's this. One side of the coin is the magic you desire is in the work you avoid. The magic you desire is in the work you avoid. And then on the back side of that, in my mind, it's a James Baldwin quote that says, "You cannot fix what you refuse to face." So we have the opportunity here, and I look at my life and I'm thinking, man, I'm accomplishing a whole bunch of things. At the same time, the magic is in the work that I'm avoiding, which makes me take stock of what it is that I'm consciously avoiding. And now I have to face that with the idea that if it's just what I call peas and carrots work, take care of the peas and carrots. And now all of a sudden I have space and time, and I don't have that pressure on me. Conversely, if it's something really big, there is going to be a payoff in getting that accomplished. And then on the other side, it asks me the question, you can't fix the stuff that you're not willing to face. We can live days, weeks, months, years, decades of our lives without facing the things that we need to fix. We all know people in our lives who aren't willing to face the stuff that they need to face in order to heal or get better. And if you blow that out writ large, we're talking about America here. We cannot fix what we are unwilling to face. And JD and I, in same difference, are facing that on a small level, but we're still facing it. The conversations between a black man and a white man over the issues of race, he has an accountability that for me, and I have an accountability for him. And at the same time, we're having these conversations. It has to happen. It absolutely positively has to happen, and let it start with us.
I agree. I mean, it's really as simple and as cliche as like be that change, right? But it is so necessary. And to touch back on what you were saying, FMI, I think especially in New York, right? But we see it all around the nation. Our kids are very angry. And a lot of times there's not a recognition and an accountability from the parents of those children, right? I've often told my kids as they grew up in a hostile type of environment, right? With in a non-hostile home, right? With different core values and different types of parenting and techniques and the way that they're spoken to and encouraged versus what they had to encounter at school, right? So that's a completely different type of environment and different types of people, which makes it hard to fit into that, right? But still thrive and get through it. And they all have. But I had to point out at times where they were getting bullied or whatever. Well, first of all, I mean, you guys know me. I've already said, and I said to my kids, whatever needs to be done if somebody puts their hands on you, I don't care if you're expelled, thrown out, whatever, right? You have every right to do what you need to do. But they were not that type of kid. And the difference in who they connected with organically was there. And I would tell them, you see how these kids speak and curse at each other and treat each other. I guarantee you will see that same type of anger and vibration from their parents. And when I see parents telling their 3-year-old, shut the F up, and this is where it all begins, right? But if in 25 years, that kid is in jail from fighting and getting into these, there's no accountability for the parenting often, right?
Right.
It's more like, oh, they made these bad decisions. But as much as our DNA, and I had this conversation last week about how our DNA is our DNA, right? It presents who we are. But I am adamant that environment can, not always, but absolutely can and will affect decision making, situations, especially when you're talking about a lack of equity in schooling, in healthcare. All of those things just don't tip the scales in your favor to be able to succeed, you
Right.
know? And a lot of these kids don't even recognize the fact that they're angry, yet alone want to have a conversation about why they're angry. You say to some of these kids sometimes, like, why are you so mad? Fuck out of here.
Yep. Yep. I'm seeing it every night. Showcases. They are mad. I'm just like, why are you so mad? We grew up in the same place, but
Right.
why are you so angry? I
Right.
have to ask.
But at the same time, it's also an approach, because I can't tell you how many people even just approach me just as an empath that are like in the streets, like rah, 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 rah. And my presence will calm them right down. Like there's this guy that just goes around, he's always drunk and he's like, rah, 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 rah. And if he sees me, he's like, oh, Miss Purple. Hey, Miss Purple. Hey, it's so good to see you, Miss Purple. He calms right the hell down. If I hear him screaming, I'll be like, you making noise again? He'll be like, no, Miss Purple. No, I'm calming down right now. You know, so the approach is so important, because
Right.
that's how you can really, really connect and get through. And if we can have those aha moments, just clicking people, even if they're just, they catch one thing and it makes them go, wait a minute, what? Or, you know, especially to be able to look at a white face and hear a completely different perspective than you expect to come out of their mouth, it makes you stop and really take note, even if you don't think that you should be paying attention.
I agree, Key.
And the, you know, I'll come from a more systemic perspective, but the system was designed without love in mind. I don't know if the original people were just as angry that created this because of the scarcity of that area. But what they did know and find out, those that wanted power, is creating scarcity creates anger, creates stress, creates a controllable situation that also is like throwing lighter into a brush fire, right? Into a brush of dry brush. It catches fire and it does what it does. And there is no love in mind. If something happens to someone who's barely making it, whether they get into a car accident or somebody hits their car and drives off while it's parked, something like that can derail someone's whole life. And what do we do after you start losing your ability to pay your bills? We punish you. Oh, you're not doing the right thing. Why don't we make it easier for you to bounce back? because the system's not designed with love in mind. And we and these kids that are black and brown aren't the only ones angry. That January 6th shit was real. And there was a bunch of white folks who are angry.
Absolutely.
Yep. So with the system not designed with love in mind, everybody's angry. And when you get angry, you just start taking it out on people. So the key is for the powers to be is how much do we allow enough hope to exist? So we still give them the shiny Kardashians and the Kanyes and the basketball players and this, and you could get there if you did it too, but we keep them hopeless enough not to just go and say, you know what, if we came together, we could stand up against this minority of people that are controlling us. We could stop this. How much hope could we have to even want to self-love ourselves enough to go, what am I eating? Where does it come from? How does it grow? What's going on with it? And all of those things. But the balance between that hopelessness that white man that just went and shot up all those people in Maine yesterday has versus the hope to try and make it. Like, everybody is suffering in this system. And if us as low melanated folks could start to come together and say, maybe we need to just step back and learn some stuff from these other folks and start to learn about other cultures, because in an abundance situation, indigenous cultures, Aboriginal cultures, you guys have a level of love and welcoming at the essence of who you are, not because of your skin, but because of the places you've been able to occupy on the planet. We need to learn from that. And that's it. It doesn't make us bad people because we grew up in this environment and have taken it on. But it does if we start to learn and we try to ignore that, like Kory said, and not want to deal with that change. And I mean, that's the hope that I hope to bring to the youth that you're talking about, FMI, is to just take a step back and see the spiritual warfare of it going on. There is a system designed without love in mind.
Right.
Key words on that, spiritual warfare. And I'm really glad that you pointed out the balance, right? Because of course, it's not just our young brown youth that are angry. That's what we see in our environment, but we see all the time, especially when it comes to these mass shootings, people losing their lives senselessly is often at the hands of a younger or a little bit older white man, right? Whatever they want to pin it as, but we see it on a regular basis. And being that this is what they are presenting to us, what does that make us feel inside? It triggers anxiety. It triggers fear. It triggers more anger. Anger begets anger. And again, when you're understanding the vibrations of the universe and the law of attraction, you know that the more that is and the more it's perpetrated, the more it's going to continue to rise up and people are just going to get angrier and angrier. You approach things from a vibration of love. People don't have a choice but to respond with that emotion of love or not respond at all, because even when you don't feed into that anger or feed into that hate, which is really just the base of fear, right, which is what it all stems from, love is the biggest and greatest emotion. Right. But we're feeding so much fear and people are eating it up on a daily basis. They're eating up that fear. It's turning into hate. It's turning into angst, right, about their entire lives. So this is what we're all doing collectively, what we stand for individually, our brands, and then the whole VPR umbrella and same difference. We're vibrating and we're approaching everything that we're doing from a place of love. So as far as I'm concerned, we're always going to be successful because we are truly creating something different, a different vibration, the right vibration for people to jump on and then learn something and start to change your perspective and approach life differently from that approach of love. And then that will beget that, and that will beget that.
Well, you've also identified a couple of things here. There's blame and mistrust, right? At one of my former jobs, it was the joke was, it may not be your fault, but we gonna blame you. and so it blame and mistrust. Everybody, when things start to get scarce, we've seen it throughout history, you got to have somebody to blame. You got to have somebody to blame for that scarcity, whether it's JD or whether it's FMI or whether it's the goddess herself, right? Somebody is encroaching on the fact that there's only one cookie, and we stop thinking there's a whole bunch of cookies out there. We just don't know or not paying attention to why that dozen cookies shouldn't be split up equally between the four of us, but we're being told that that one cookie is for all of us. And that's a problem. That's a tremendous problem. And we, just like JD said, if we aren't thinking about an abundance mindset, so this kills me. We have more billionaires now than ever before, and yet we're fighting over small things. We're fighting over the idea that a CEO makes orders of magnitude more than his lowest paid employee, but we're getting upset that we're going to try to raise the minimum wage. There is more than enough money. There is more than enough money for us to increase the minimum wage if we can create billionaires.
And let us not neglect the fact that money is paper, printed paper.
It's a medium for exchange, and the exchange is the exchange of energy. Money never built any of those buildings in New York. It never grew a plant. It never built a house. It never drove a car. It never did any of these things. Terrence Howard was speaking at Oxford, I think it is Oxford, not Oxnard, but one of them in Europe. And he studied physics, and he talked about, at one point in his speech, human beings are the only life force that use money to exchange the energy and live their life. Every other animal's like, oh, grass, need that, water, need that, this. Like, we come with this concept, and that's part of it, right? If it was just a medium of exchange, then it would have to flow. But now when you want control, you're trying to save it and control it and manipulate it. Half of the jobs in New York City on Wall Street are pointless for the quality of life on the planet. Absolutely mind-boggling, confusingly pointless, just to maintain confusion and keep themselves feeling valuable. And look at what I did with money today, so I can make money. And I mean, it serves no purpose for the actual life and enjoyability and quality of life on the planet.
You're right. You're absolutely correct on that. If you and I can make a fortune on predicting whether the market moves up and down, we haven't made a physical thing. We're talking about margins.
We're betting.
This big. Yes, exactly. We're betting. And either way, we're going to get paid whether the market goes up or whether the market goes down.
Exactly.
That job is almost insulation proof, right? It's like, well, if the market goes up, we make money. If the market goes down, we still gonna make money. It may not be as much, but we still gonna make money.
Without a doubt.
We predicted it'll go down, and we use the people that we know and the organizations that we know to make sure that we push it down, and then we leak some news into the media to make the retail investors get scared, so they sell their stuff and it continues to drop. Then we'll really make a ton of money.
Especially on the buyback.
Yep.
We can sink crazy money into the stock that has dropped, that still is good value, but the stock has now dropped down to $50 when it was at $250. Now we're going to buy all those up and we're going to pop that stock right back up, but we've got more of it now.
Right, at a lower price.
Right.
I love a good sale on a stock, I must say, though.
You're not wrong.
Shoes.
You're not wrong at all.
Okay.
And guys, this is the only place where you could tune into on a Thursday morning and get wholesome content like this, where you can laugh, you could learn something, and you could walk away with a different look on life. Guys, please tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them the scheduling of every Tuesday when it's dropping so they know where to tune in. Tell them everything about you guys.
We didn't mention the website, which is samedifference.life, L-I-F-E, samedifference.life.
Right. So get your life. Okay.
Different. You heard that one? I like that.
Dot
life.
Get your life.
And then JD, go ahead and drop some science, man.
So we can be found on Spotify. We can be found on Apple and all of the podcasting sites. There will be more and more clips made available because we're not doing this in video form yet, but we will be promoting in video so you can see and experience some of our planning sessions, some of our of our content, some of the stuff that won't make it on there. And you know,
we're gonna do a blooper reel because y'all got hella bloopers. I gotta say, yeah. I've been creeping behind the scenes. Like, these guys are silly. Look, now you see them, now you don't.
So, yeah, Kory's good at disappearing on screen.
Oh, you got jokes now. You got jokes now. All right. The best part about it is just, again, joining us on the organic journey of getting to know each other and starting a conversation and a dialogue. Come along, join us. This is a conversation. It's not going to be happy flower kitty land all the time. We're going to disagree. We haven't found those spots yet, but it's only 3 episodes in now with a couple more in the tank. Fine. We're going to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. There's not a reason for us to be foul to each other. And that's where conversations end. But we want to continue to have this conversation. I would love to have this go on for years, wherein people experience our stories, and by extension, they can say, oh, I didn't understand that before. And if you've listened to the second podcast, there's the story about representation with me and the G.I. Joe.
No, that's next week.
Oh, I let that cat out of the bag.
I heard that story though, because you told
well, we did it because you talked about it. And so we started off episode 3 with that story.
I'm glad. So you guys definitely want to check that out, because again, the way that Kory tells a story, it's different. It's not just, oh yeah, this happened to me way back when. You're going to feel it and you're going to be like, oh shit, I've had that moment. I've seen someone have that moment. You're going to get it.
And that's what, as a storyteller, that's what I want. I want you to feel it and to have it resonate within you, so that you have now lowered another barrier to the opposition of understanding. I was at a storytelling festival in Geneva, Illinois, back in September, and I told that G.I. Joe story, and the woman came up to me afterward and said, I didn't understand this whole idea of representation until I heard your story, and now I got it.
Because how could you understand it when you're represented everywhere?
Right.
You see the lack of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're going to hear stories from JD and myself, and we're going to dissect them, chop it up, have conversations. That's the whole point of this. Greater understanding, better conversations. And by the time eternity ends, I figure JD and I will probably be really good friends by then. But you're going to grow with us along the way. When hell freezes over, we're going to be friends.
It's crazy.
We're going to be big homies.
Yeah.
Crazy. how people are tuning in and actively watching you guys become friends, disagree. It's amazing that they can only have that experience on same different podcasts.
And maybe, just maybe, I'll actually try a vegan rib. I don't know exactly what that is.
I don't either.
Brooklyn, and I went to a restaurant called the V Spot.
Oh my God. Their food is amazing.
Yeah, I went years ago, and I got dragged there by a friend, and she said you should get the burrito. I'm like, bring me here to eat a burrito. It's not real meat.
It's delicious.
And then I bit into it.
Yep.
I looked at her. I said,
"Yep. What kind of magic? What kind of
it has the texture of meat." I was like, it tastes like it.
You know who took us there? Tanya from CMOS Bullies. Literally after our show, when she pulled up, she was like, I gotta take you. You're gonna come to this vegan spot. And it was the V Spot. And I was like,
so vegan food, Kory, don't sleep on it. I know, my brother. Don't sleep on it.
I know. I believe.
I don't know about where you at, but come to New York. They get busy with vegan food. You go get vegan Jamaican food. You go get vegan. I'm telling you, vegan oxtail, vegan this, they have everything.
But I will have the chopped cheese for you. Don't worry. I got you.
Yeah.
We got you on the chopped.
Don't worry. We do meat here in the Midwest. We do meat here. I'll show you a pork tenderloin out here that'll make your eyes roll back in your head.
Okay.
You don't eat your meat without seasoning, so it's the same concept. All it is who's cooking it that makes the biggest difference.
Well, JT, the last one.
I'll get you, Gadget.
Back to my vegan meat. I respect it. VPR on a Thursday, guys. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I've had a blast.
Thank you for having us.
I am going to be posting your content like it is my own. Let's run this up, guys. We have something to give to the world, and I'm excited to be working with you guys.
That's right. And make sure you check out samedifference.life. It drops every single Tuesday. Check out Race for What and JD's book. It really is amazing. Get to know more about him and a different type of perspective. So we love you guys. We'll be waiting for episode 3. And I know JD will be texting me with some tech issues one day soon. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Love to you both.
Yes, absolutely.
And do your homework, young man.
I am Alexander today. I'm going to bump him. I'm gonna light my candle that's above me right now.
You gotta light the candle, bro. I want to see the smoking jacket.
I got you.
that fez, that little ascot right here. You're gonna have silk pajamas and slippers on. Kory, my boy.
I can't, Kory, you the man. I love
look for you. That's a good look for you.
We'll difference,
see you later,
man.
Guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
Ciao. Oh my God. So much fun. Yo, you know what would be lit with the smoking jacket? Do you remember the sequin sweatsuit? Was it computer that had that on?
I don't even know what I'm gonna be for Halloween, and I got Halloween events. I'm supposed to be outside this weekend. What the hell? VPR, I'm slacking on my Mac and I've been DJing.
It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I'm like, people are celebrating it there. I'm like, I got an R&B thing, and then I got Sunday, I got something else going on. I'm like, I gotta get a little fake costume.
And taking the kids trick-or-treating because ain't nobody
I don't blame you, Kiana. I'm gonna take myself trick-or-treat.
Okay.
These clubs better have alcohol and candy. VPR.
All right, bro. Big love. Games be great. That's our boy Breeze. We see you. We appreciate you, bro. And all of you continue to do everything that you do with love. If you approach it with love, you will never fail. We promise you. We'll see you next week, and we love you for watching.
And we love you guys, man. See y'all later. Yeah.